Ijumi Martin is my name. I'm a student of the University of St. Joseph, Mbarara, pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, handling object-oriented programming as a course unit, and that's my reg number, and that's the name of my lecturer. And I want to thank you all for joining me in my presentation for my mid-semester. So with object-oriented programming, we have what is called an event. An event in Java is an object that is created when something changes within a graphical user interface. That is to say, when a user clicks on a button, or when a user clicks on the combo box, or when a user types characters in a text field, or when a user moves a mouse, or when a user uses a mouse to mouse over, or uses a mouse to drag, all that is moving a mouse. All these triggers what is called an event. So this behavior is part of a Java's event handling mechanism, and it is included in the Swing GUI library. So with event handling or event handler, it verifies the user input, the user actions, and the browser behaviors or the browser's action. What to say is things that should be done every time a page loads. Things that should be done every time a page is closed, or action that should be performed when a user clicks a button. So these are event handlings. So they verify those inputs, actions, and behaviors. So we have another technique called an event delegation model, which defines the consistent and standard mechanism to generate and process events. A source generates an event. The source generates an event and sends it to one or more listeners. So the listener will wait until it receives an event. With this, the benefit is the user interface logic is separated from the event holder logic. So the user interface element is able to delegate the processing of an event to a separate piece of code. Then the delegation event model listener must register the event that came from the source, giving a state of change, giving an alert to a state of change to the listener, or an event showing that an event has occurred, and there comes a response. So let's look at an event listener. An event listener is a procedure in Java that waits for an event to occur. This simple example of an event is a user clicking the mouse or pressing a key on a keyboard. There are different event listeners like action listener, item listener, etc. But I will look at the action listener. So the action listener is used to handle events caused by sources like buttons, menu items, etc. When these actions are taken, it overrides a method called the public void action performed with an argument called action event. So here I have one argument called an action event. So this method helps us to instruct the button to behave in a certain way. So here we have our frame. In event listener, we have two things to be implemented: the action listener and the action performed method. We see we have our graphical user our graphical user library up here, the import JavaX swing. So with this code creates a frame. This code creates a frame. Then this one creates a button, a submit button, J button, that is JB equals to new JB submit. Submit is the name of our button. Then we have created also an object or handler class. This is our object or an handler class, which this class is down here, called a class handler implemented action listener, which is an import event package. So we have the register listener for the button. So this is our register listener for the button. We can't have this without having a class handler declared up here. The class handler must be declared for us for the action listener to function. Then our import event package is right here, is the same as this one up here. Then import event package. Then the method, the public void action perform, the method with only one argument, provides definition of action perform method. So this one defines what is the output of the end results. Going ahead, what is an event adapter? In Java, adapter provides the default implementation of listener's interface. If you inherit the adapter class, you will not be forced to provide the implementation of all the methods of listeners' interfaces. So this will save you from too much coding. So the adapter class are in Java awt.event and javax.swing event packages. The event adapters are helpful in such a way that you can use it to simplify the process of event handling. It provides empty implementation of all methods in an event listener interface. It defines a new class to act as event listener by extending one of the adapter classes and implementing only those methods that you want to use in your code. For example, this here. So let's look at this closely. We have our class adapter, extended frame, and we have created our frame F and our adapter I. So we will use mouse motion listener. Use mouse motion listener, and in mouse motion listener we will see we'll have the mouse moved. We'll have the mouse moved, and we'll have mouse we have mouse drag. So in our adapter, in our adapter listener, we will use the mouse motion listener, and we can see how to use an adapter class. Now, instead of using this, I will use object of the adapter class. So the adapter class I'm using will be M1. That is the adapter class I'll be using. So if I write my code at f equals to new frame, and you put whatever frame name you put there, yes, then f would add mouse motion listener. Instead of using this, I will replace it with M1. Adapter class, that will be my adapter class of M1. I write it as new M1. So it'll be like that, new M1. So this is called this is calling this construction of class M1. So how does M1 class work? So how M1 class works is we define it by class M1, which is this one, which is supposed to be here, extends mouse motion adapter. Mouse motion adapter. So we have defined class M1 extend adapter class for a particular interface, and that interface is our mouse motion listener. So there are two methods here which I talked about: mouse moved, mouse drag. So those are the two methods here, and under this you have, so those two methods we come and declare it here that public void mouse moved bracket mouse event ME. So we have an argument of mouse event ME. These are my references. I want to acknowledge these sites and to inform you all that this is not my work. This is the research I got from these websites.